Welcome to the 2014 Veterans Day Assembly at Morgan Park Academy. Please stand as you are able to welcome our veteran guests today. Pledge of Allegiance and the Star-Spangled Banner, accompanied by upper school student Rebecca McGovern.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today, we are gathered together to honor those men and women who have served our country with courage and honor. We appreciate your attention and appropriate assembly behavior throughout the assembly. We will begin with 2 songs performed by the combined middle and upper school chorus. Song for the Unsung Hero, In America the New Colossus, will be directed by Mrs. Heather Curran and accompanied by Mrs. Peggy Scolan.
some definitions with you. A veteran is any person who has served in the armed services. An armistice is a situation in war where the opposing forces agree to stop fighting in an effort to come to a peaceful resolution. It does not always mean the end of the war. Veterans Day is a day that celebrates the service of all U.S. military veterans. Veterans Day does not include an apostrophe, but does include an S at the end of veterans. It is not a day that belongs to veterans. It is a day for honoring all veterans. Memorial Day is a day that remembers the men and women who died while serving in the armed services.
On November 11, 1919, Woodrow Wilson announced the first Armistice Day. Its purpose was to celebrate when the armistice was signed, which officially ended the Great War, also known as World War I. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, the Allies and Germany came together to initiate the conditions to secure future peace.
The following is a quote by Woodrow Wilson. To us in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who have died in the country's services, and with gratitude for the victory both because of the thing from which it has freed us and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of the nations.
After World War II, veteran Raymond Wick suggested that Armistice Day, now known as Veterans Day, should be meant to celebrate veterans from all wars, living or deceased. With approval of President Eisenhower, Wick led the first Veterans Day, and each one should after that until his death. Raymond Wick has since then been named the father of Veterans Day. We gather here today, 95 years after the armistice, to continue honoring all the sacrifice our nation's troops have made, and we are happy to have in our audience our own veterans from Morgan Park Military Academy, as well as current MPA staff members who are veterans.
Here are some facts about Veterans Day. The major hostilities of World War I were formally ended at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, when Germany signed the armistice. For many years after the war, it was a common practice on November 11th at 11 o'clock for Americans to face east, where the fighting occurred in Europe, to show respect to those veterans that had served in their country, many of whom had died. We will also do this later in the assembly. Thank you for honoring this today. In 1954, President Eisenhower officially changed the name of the day from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. Britain, France, Australia, and Canada also commemorate the veterans of World Wars I and II on or near November 11th.
At this time, members of the National Honor Society and National Junior Honor Society will read the poem In Flanders Field. But first, let me provide you with some background information on this poem. This poem was written during World War I by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae. He wrote it on May 3rd, 1915, after the funeral of his friend and soldier, Alexis Helmer. The poem was first published on December 8, 1915, in a London magazine. The Remembrance Poppy is one of the world's most recognized memorial symbols for soldiers who have died in war.
In Flanders Field, the poppies blow. Between the crosses, row on row.
The mackerel plays in the sky.
The larks still bravely singing fly. First heard a minute ago glow.
We are the dead, 12 days ago.
Indeed, from down, sunset, no.
Loved and were loved and now loved.
In Flanders Fields,
Take up our quarrel with the foe.
to you from fallen hands we go. The torch be yours to hold it high. If ye brave faith with us who died.
We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Field.
There's one down here. Joey, down here.
Here are some statistics about veterans in America. There are approximately 23.2 million military veterans in the United States. 9.2 million veterans are over the age of 65. 1.9 million veterans are under the age of 35. 1.8 million veterans are women.
And there are 7.8 million veterans served during the Vietnam War era, 1964 through 1975. And 5.2 million veterans served during the Gulf War, 2.6 million veterans served during World War II, and 2.8 million veterans served during the Korean War, 6 million veterans served during peacetime.
We are very proud to introduce our own veterans with us today who represent Morgan Park Military Academy, Morgan Park Academy faculty, and MPA friends and family, all who have served our country. At this time, I ask for all the veterans to please stand as you are able. William Counts, Morgan Park Military Academy, class of 1947. Frank Fonsino, Morgan Park Military Academy, class of 1959. Dr. George Breyer, father of Mrs. Razor and Mrs. Eichinger, and grandfather of Senior Jeffrey Eichinger. Colonel Alan Andreasen, Morgan Park Military Academy, class of 1947. Mel Bacon, Morgan Park Military Academy, class of 1944. William Breaker, Morgan Park Military Academy, class of 1944. Richard Phillips, Morgan Park Military Academy, class of 1943. Forrest Carlson, Morgan Park Military Academy, class of 1961. Eric Gustafson, Morgan Park Military Academy, class of 1961. Julian Gomez, father of MPA students Diego and Amelia Gomez. Tim Scolan, husband of MPA teacher Peggy Scolan. Rebecca McGovern, Morgan Park Academy school nurse, and Travis Novack, Morgan Park Academy's history teacher. You may be seated.
Let's have the veterans stand. No, that's right. That's right. This way.
We would like for our veterans with us today to remain seated and share with us their name and branch of the military they served in.
Colonel Andreasen, United States Marine Corps. I served 31 years during the Korean-Vietnam War and stayed in the Marine Corps after that to eventually lead a communications squadron, and retired in 1983. Thank you.
I'm Bill Counts, graduated in 1947 along with Alan Andreasen. Served in the National Guard for a short time and then went on to college. Thank you.
Gustafson, class of 61. Enlisted in 1966. After active duty, I reverted back to the reserve system and stayed in the Illinois Guard and the Army Reserve for the rest of my 30-year tenure. Had such positions as Chief Training Officer, First Sergeant, and then retired as a Sergeant Major in Finance.
My name's Forrest Carlson, class of 61. I was in the 202nd Artillery, Illinois National Guard. I was a missile launcher crewman for 6 years and then became civilian again.
Julian Gomez. Served in the United States Marine Corps from 1990 to 1993. I was with 1st Battalion, 3rd Marines, Infantry Unit. Thank you very much.
I'm Bill Breaker, class of 44. I served 2 hitches, one in the Merchant Marine toward the end of World War II, and then again for the Korean War, 1950 to 53. Glad to be home in one piece, and thank you for this wonderful reception.
My name is Tim Scolan. I'm the husband of Peggy Scolan. I was in the Navy from 1965 through 1968 off the coast of Vietnam. My main concern, or my main accomplishment, whatever you want to call it, was we were the first aircraft carrier to begin to have a accredited college so that we could get our sailors quicker into full-time colleges that were accredited on land. I was in reserves for 1 year, at which time I just went back to civilian life. Thank you.
I'm Dick Phillips, class of MDMA, class of 43. I had a busy spring. I was 17, had my 17th birthday in April, graduated in June, and went in the Navy July 1st. Spent most of my time in the Navy going to school, one place and another, and ended up second class electronic technician. President Truman dropped the atom bomb on Japan, and otherwise I would have been in the invasion.
My name is Mel Bacon, and I was in the class of 1944 and served overseas in Europe with the 28th Infantry Division. And the experiences that I had here at Morgan Park really paid off during my time in the service, and I'll never be able to thank Morgan Park enough for the academy for what they have done for me. It's a privilege to be here today, and I really enjoyed the program. It's wonderful. Thank you.
I'm Nurse Becky. I served for 10 years in the Air Force. I enlisted in 1982, made sergeant, and then went to officers training school. I spent 10 years as an intelligence officer, and I lived every second and did a lot of traveling.
Good morning, I'm Mr. Novack. I served in the Marine Corps from 2004 to 2012. I made sergeant, served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. And I just want to thank all the veterans here today for coming out and for, without you guys, we wouldn't be able to be here today. So thank you very much.
At this time, it is very close to the 11 o'clock hour, and we
ask for the audience to please rise and turn around to face east, where the armistice to end World War I was signed. We ask for a moment of silence to show respect and honor for all the veterans at this time. Thank you. You may be seated. Now we would like to invite Colonel Andreasen, who is a member of Morgan Park Military's Academy of 1947, to come up to the stage and make some brief remarks.
One of the things I'd like to do is to tell you some of the things that we did in the 40s when we were at this school. As you know, it was a military academy, and on Saturdays we had our military training, and we were able to set up a 30 caliber heavy machine gun in 3 minutes or less. That was our goal. And we had Army personnel here to help us to learn how to do this. Of course, we were all familiar with close order drill. We had sergeants from the Army to teach us to do that. And as we graduated, everyone had actually been through a similar type boot camp, so we were ready to go and serve. Some of us, not me because I was a little older, but some of the cadets here went right on to the streetcar on 111th Street and got on the streetcar, went down for induction, and went right into war. Fortunately, I was old enough that I just missed it by 1 year. But we would want you to know that that's what this school had trained us to do that, just like it's training you to be good academic students. That's what this is all about. I'd like to thank the veterans who have come for this ceremony. A bad day, but we're here, and I think that's what really matters. And also, I know in all our hearts, we thank you so much for putting on such a wonderful program. Most schools are off today, but it has been a tradition of Morgan Park Academy to keep the students here to celebrate this Veterans Day. And I just want you to know that we appreciate it and hope to see you again next year. And incidentally, on a personal note, thank you, Malia. Okay.
Thank you, Colonel Andreasen. Each year, our middle school students are invited to participate in a Patriots Pen essay writing contest sponsored by the Veterans of Foreign War. The theme of this year's essay contest was Why I Appreciate America's Veterans. At this time, Joseph Case, one of our 8th grade National Junior Honor Society members, will read the essay that he wrote for this year's contest.
I appreciate America's veterans because of the tremendous sacrifices they have made to protect me and to preserve the way of life in the United States. War is an absolute terrible thing. America's veterans have fought in many wars and have seen and gone through many things that can never be truly put into words. Their heroism is indescribable. They would literally catch a grenade for their country. They would and have given their lives to save the lives and liberties of others. It is almost inconceivable to understand their selflessness. From the year 1941 to the present day, there have been 2 attacks on U.S. soil, and over the past 70 years, the United States has been involved in wars overseas, including World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam, and the war in Iraq. All the battles were fought by our veterans in unfamiliar lands. Our veterans traveled all around the world to places they didn't know, fighting enemies they didn't know, battling in lands they didn't know, and even in a war where perhaps half their country didn't agree with it. All to protect the people and the ideals of the United States. This unselfish commitment to our country is amazing to me. Veterans truly embody the American spirit. When veterans served, their families did too. They left behind family members and friends who know more about their sacrifices veterans made for their country. Veterans stood up for things that were unjust and fought for the survival of our great nation. They exemplify what it means to be an American. Veterans set an example that everyone should follow. Veterans Day is a day when all Americans can show their appreciation for our veterans. At MPA, we do not have today off. Instead, we attend school today, and we have this assembly to honor our veterans. I think it should be this way at all schools. Rather than give kids a day off, I think kids should spend a day with a veteran, learn their individual story, and hear about the sacrifices they have made, and gaining a deeper understanding of why it is a day to honor our veterans.
At this time, we invite to the stage music teacher Christian Rogala, the 3rd graders, and the junior choir who have been practicing a thank you song for our veterans. Thank you, Mr. Rogala, third graders, and junior chorus members. We will conclude our assembly with Matthew Hugh playing text. Please rise and place your hand over your heart. standing. Thank you for your respectful audience behavior today. At this time, we would like to give our guest veterans one last round of applause as they leave the meeting.